Welcome, Vault Dwellers. My name is Nacho Bidness, and this is episode 37 of my Fallout 4 No Loot Challenge Run. If you like these kind of crazy challenge runs, please do hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It does indeed help my channel grow. If you dislike, please tell me why in a comment so that I can try to do better for you next time. A dislike without context means that I don't know what I should be doing to improve my content for you in the future. Thank you so much for your consideration. The rules on this run are fairly simple. Here on Xbox, we are not allowed to use the A button to take anything out of the world or out of a container and put it into my character's inventory. The notable exception is crops. We're playing on survival mode, and my character Mary here, she needed something to eat, and we also needed something to barter with in order to get the junk and bullets and guns necessary to play the game. You know, I have titled this episode the finale, but there is going to be at least one more episode after this, an epilogue. I have a number of questions about what happens around the Commonwealth when we end the game in this somewhat unusual set of circumstances. More on that in a minute. First, we have to discuss whether or not we think we're going to be able to end the game at all. I ended last episode explaining that I have done everything I can think of in order to get the quest form ranks to complete. I have done a lot of searching on the Fallout Wiki, and the only prerequisite for completing 4 ranks is supposed to be having 8 settlements in your control. I have 28, and so clearly there's something else going on. Additional research on Reddit revealed a number of threads where people were complaining of similar problems, and there were a number of solutions suggested, and we're going to try some of them. Some of them we have already tried. However, nobody ever thought to go back and update their thread and say, this solution worked or that solution didn't work. Very irritating. So we have tried some things, like people have suggested that you needed to have 8 settlement beacons active. I've gone around, turned on many more than 8 beacons, and no such luck. I have tried doing things like physically moving Preston Garvey to the castle, and that didn't do anything for us. I did more than 8 Radiant quests for Preston after the Form Ranks quest was given. None of that has done anything. Furthermore, we are at the moment locked out of all other factions than the Minutemen. If you have not been watching the series so far, or if you have forgotten, Paladin Dance is still stuck in the basement of ArcJet Systems very early in the run. We took him down there, and he wanted us to pick up a deep-range transmitter, but we don't do that because we're not looting. And that means that Paladin Dance has spent the last about 8 in-game months in the basement at ArcJet. It's a wonder the man hasn't starved to death. It's almost like he's an artificial person, isn't it? The railroad, we had a definite misunderstanding with the railroad. We did a few too many quests with the Institute, and the railroad has said that they're going to shoot us on sight the next time we show our faces in their headquarters. And so we are not going to be able to go any further with the railroad. Not that we get very far. The very first railroad quest was a fetch quest, and we could not complete it. Deacon was left waiting by the highway for months before, as I said, we finally got kicked out of the railroad entirely. As for the Institute, we've been kicked out of the Institute as well, because I frankly didn't want to do an Institute run. The next quest for the Institute was going to be a fetch quest, and there was at least 2 items that I was going to have to pick up to complete that quest. And so, in game, I have rationalized the murder of father/son/Sean. In Mary's mind, the Institute has the potential to do a great deal of good for humanity, but they are misguided and directionless. They are doing senseless experiments. The FEV experiments were allowed to continue for years, not because there was anything to learn, but just because it was habit. As for snatching people from the Commonwealth and replacing them with synths, there's little to no point in it. If you really think about what the Institute is hoping to accomplish, why would they ever bother messing around with people on the surface? And those crimes against humanity continue. And although Mary had been told she would be the head of the Institute once Father passes away, she felt like it could not be borne to continue to just let the Institute commit their crimes. And so, after all, Father had an aggressive form of cancer, but cancer can be a strange thing sometimes. Sometimes a doctor will give a patient weeks to live, and they will live for years. Mary decided to take matters into her own hands, and she killed Father, and she was caught. And so she has been kicked out of the Institute, and they have sworn to shoot her on sight. So that leaves the Minutemen. The Minutemen are our only hope for being able to advance and complete the game. And as I've said, we have had a great deal of trouble trying to complete the quest for ranks. There must be some other interdependency that is affecting our ability to complete that. And once we do, when we do go to defend the castle, we've got a lot of people here. Our defense is at 138. We've got laser turrets and missile turrets. Like, we're loaded for bear. Should be fairly easy to win that fight. But even so, I have taken some precautions and brought my power armor down here. I've also reconfigured it. Last time around, we used it. We used it to go to the glowing sea, and I had it lead lined to protect against radiation. Since we're going to be fighting the Institute, I have elected to give it prism armor, which is extra defense against energy weapons. I have also changed the helmet over to targeting. Fighting the Institute means that we're going to be fighting coursers, and I'm hoping that this targeting will help highlight coursers that are under the effects of stealth boys. They are very hard to find, very hard to kill when they're invisible. It's possible that Barry Mentats could help with that as well, and now that I have the slog in my group of settlements, I now have tarberries available to me at the workbench. Those are going into the workbench at the slog, and that means that since everybody's networked, I can access them here. The problem is antifreeze, of all things. I looked at my level 4 vendors, both at Hangman's Alley with the Vaultec rep and Trader Riley over at the Overland Station, and no antifreeze there. No antifreeze with Myrna in Diamond City, no antifreeze with Trudy at Drunken Diner, and no antifreeze with Trash Can Carla. I am at a loss. Antifreeze is not normally a extremely rare junk item to find in vendor inventories. I'm just baffled why I can't find any. But as I said, hopefully that targeting helmet will mean that we don't need to resort to drugs in the first place. Now, what to do next? I have 2 thoughts about possible things that are hanging up the Form Rings quest and keeping us from defending the castle. The first is that we are supposed to have met all of the factions, And we have never actually properly met the Brotherhood of Steel. Because Paladin Dance is still in the basement at ArcJet, we have never set foot on the Predwin. We've never been introduced to Elder Maxon. We have really only a very brief conversation with Dance where he recruited us at the police station to even tell us what the Brotherhood is all about. Otherwise, they're just this very mysterious dudes that are stomping around the Commonwealth in power armor. It's possible that the game is, since it is designed that we should meet and interact deeply with all of the factions before making our choice. The fact that we have not done so with the Brotherhood may mean that's what's keeping form ranks from completing. The other thought that I have is that you can't get form ranks until you have ostensibly finished Old Guns. Now, we never finished Old Guns. We got it, but we never finished it because I don't want to pick up the artillery schematics. But it's possible that without the artillery, the game doesn't think that we're ready to defend the castle. And so that is what I'm going to try first. So let's go over and pick up some artillery schematics. We don't need those supplies. We've got plenty of supplies. And this does increase our loot counter. I have said before that if there is simply no way to progress the game without picking up a piece of loot, I will do so. And the counter that I'm showing on screen shows the number of occasions that has happened. Where is it? There's Old Guns. And I hate it. I don't like it. But, it's supposed to be a challenge run. We're not supposed to do it at all. But ultimately, this run would have not got very far if I was not willing to bend the rules, because 20 minutes into the game, you have to pick up Pip-Boy, and a run that ends still inside the vault is not much of a run.
Got everything we need. As soon as you get some artillery built, we'll do a test fire together.
Alright, we've got our schematics, and let's go ahead and build ourselves some artillery. I like to put this in kind of the two corners of the castle that are more or less facing the rest of the Commonwealth. And that guy just doesn't want to go down where I want. The good thing is that we have place anywhere, and I have wrestled with placement of objects in the settlement system. Oops. I have wrestled with this stuff enough to last a lifetime. And although I'm currently recording before the release of Starfield. I'm very excited for it, and I'm hoping that the outpost system offers us something like the depth of the settlement system in Fallout 4. I felt like the camp system in Fallout 76 was overall a disappointment, but I will say that I hope that their placement of stuff in Starfield, as I said, if it's a nice deep system like we had in Fallout 4, I hope that the placement is not so fidgety as it was in Fallout 4. And I'm just looking for a couple of likely looking candidates to crew these guns. This person's wearing armor. Let's assign them. It's going to take them off of food production. It's going to mean we have a little bit less mute fruit the next time we go to make glue at a cooking station, but really at this point I don't feel like I need more caps or more experience points. I feel like I've got plenty enough to complete the game. Man, where is everybody? I cannot. I've got the Child Settlers mod, but I don't think they can crew artillery. How about you? You don't look much like a soldier, but it frankly doesn't matter. Let's have you come over here and crew this. That was kind of shimmering a little bit, so we'll just pick it up, pop it back down. Sometimes it's a little flicker you can get with placing there. Anyways, we've got our guns manned. We have a defense of 150. Ronnie, what is next?
Artillery here again. So here's the thing about the big guns. They can't fire at anything too close. Their range is increased. That's what the smoke grenades are for. Toss one of those at the bad guys. If we have artillery in range, we'll confirm over the radio and target our fire on your smoke. But first, we better do a test fire. Make sure we're hitting what we're aiming at. You see that little building over there? We'll use that for our aiming point. Keep your radio on and tuned to radio freedom so we can confirm we're ready.
If I ever had smoke grenades, I got rid of them a long time ago. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that there's probably some over here in the armory. But, I mean, I just broke the rules. I don't want to do it again. Can we potentially make some smoke grenades at the chemistry station? No. Well, Ronnie, at some point she does become a vendor. So, Ronnie, where'd you go? And would you like to sell me some
I want to trade a
smoke
few
grenades?
things.
No, you would not. Well, I have some perks, and I was just going to dump these into endurance and gain some hit points. But let's take a rank of demo expert and see if maybe that will allow us to make some smoke grenades. No. And these are not going to be in any of the other categories. I'm sure of it, but I'm also just kind of forlornly looking, just in case. Maybe there's something else we can do. Well, at the least, we can make ourselves some bottle cap lines. For a while, was just every time I saw a lunchbox in a vendor inventory, I would buy it. There were only like 1 or 2 caps, and they were weightless, so there was no harm in it. Might as well use those, and we'll get those placed. But I'm wondering if maybe there might be a vendor somewhere in the Commonwealth that has a chance of spawning these smoke grenades. So I am going to do a little bit of research and maybe run around to some of the more prominent weapons vendors, like maybe Clio or Good Neighbor, and just see if any of them have any smoke grenades I can buy rather than loot. And I will get back to you with those results here in mere seconds for you. We'll see how long it takes me. Bad news, everybody. I went and visited Cleo in Good Neighbor and Arturo in Diamond City, Smiling Larry at Hangman's Alley, and Cricket on the Road. Nobody had any artillery smoke grenades. Now, either they don't spawn before you actually complete the quest, or I was unlucky, or maybe they just don't spawn at all. Regardless, there is no other choice but to move forward with this and see if this is going to work. So there we go. The loot counter ticks up once again, but at least now we have the grenades and we are ready to complete old guns. Now, I am going to turn on my radio to Radio Freedom to complete the optional objective, but I have had a copyright notification, not a copyright strike, but a copyright notification on my channel once already on this series because of music that was playing from a radio. So that means that I am frankly going to toss this. Oh right, I have to equip the grenade. I'm going to toss this grenade and I am going to turn on the radio, but I am not going to show you the artillery strikes. It's probably okay. They look cool, but I'd just be standing there like watching explosions. So let's skip ahead a little bit. Alright, artillery strikes are done. Radio's off. Let's go have a word with Preston. Preston, are we finally done with form ranks?
I never thought I'd see the day that the Minutemen had artillery support again. We should see about building them at all our settlements to expand our coverage. And Ronnie Shaw returns. She's something else.
Old guns completed.
Yeah,
kind of like
she
Ronnie Shaw.
definitely knows how to take charge.
Ha! That's a bit of an understatement from what I hear. I'd heard stories about her from the old-timers, but I didn't know she was still around. The fact that she's come back to the Minutemen means we must be doing something right. Bet if they can knock out the castle, it could set us back to square one. We can't let that happen again.
Okay, his dialogue glitched just a little second there, but I think that we just finished form ranks. Yes, we are starting to defend the castle. Oh. What a relief. So we have discovered an undocumented interaction between old guns and form ranks. Completion of old guns is not listed on the wiki or any place else that I found online as a prerequisite to completing form ranks, but you just saw it. Like the second that I finished old guns, form ranks ended and defend the castle began. So since we have a few moments here, let's go ahead and set out those bottle cap mines. Not really any place in the Institute that I kind of expect to use those, so we might as well get them down and try and get some use out of them. And we've also got a couple other preparations that we can make here, and heck, while I'm at it, I don't really know what good frag mines are going to be when we go storm the Institute, so we'll throw some here, and if I seem to recall that it's possible for them to relay into the kitchen area, so let's just go ahead and throw down some frag mines in here. Hopefully we won't have any Minutemen stumble across that, and we can also rearm our smoke grenades. The other thing that doing this stuff now does for us is it gives the artillery time to reload. So we can get our power armor, and I think I mentioned, or I hope I mentioned, that we've got the targeting HUD, and I hope that means that we'll be able to target coursers that are under the influence of a stealth point.
Hey,
I have Cosworth holding a lot of my day-to-day type stuff, so I can get my carry weight down as much as I could So that I could pick up Big Boy and a couple mini nukes. I would not have the carry weight for this if I was not wearing power armor. So one more reason to use power armor during this little quest. Oh, and we also had a couple of perks to take, so we're just going to dump those into endurance. How are we doing on hit points? 666. Well, isn't that just perfect, I guess, because we're about to unleash hell, right? Ronnie, where did you go? There you are. Let's see, do we have... Let's activate this quest. And... Ronnie, are we ready to do this?
I guess we're about to find out if these new Minutemen really have what it takes. We've seen a lot of those Institute crow things sniffing around. Looks like they're getting ready to try to take us out. We've called in volunteers, so we aren't short of people. We'll see how these greenhorns do in a real battle. I'm feeling pretty good about our defenses, but it sure wouldn't hurt for you to take a look around and shore up any weak points you see.
Already done, Ronnie. Our defense stood at...
are moving on our position. This is not a drill.
Let's see, where's our defense
All
go?
available Minutemen in the
That
area please move in
is
to reinforce.
216. I think some of these reinforcements that she called in must be helping our defense stat. We got 24 people right now. Hopefully we have 24 people here at the end of the battle. Meanwhile, let's get Big Boy out. I just don't see much of a chance to use this thing. In the Institute itself, it's just no good in close quarters, so I'm hoping that we can get like a good kind of preemptive strike with this thing. Just kind of waiting to see. Okay, so there's a bunch of synths way the heck over there. I wonder, there's one right close, but that's a provisioner. We do not want to shoot our provisioner with the Big Boy. So provisioner, you should go ahead and get into the castle. And I feel like I might be leaving the quest area here, but what the heck? Let's just see if we can carpet bomb that area. Oh boy. Well, you just cannot get enough range on Big Boy to really make it an ideal weapon, right? Like, the explosions are so big. These synths are being completely drawn off by a single Brahmin. You go, Brahmin. So, well, no experience points popped up, so did not even manage to kill a single synth with Big Boy. Still, let's get back in the castle. This is where we're supposed to be, and let's just see about defending this place properly. Apparently our turrets are already doing some work because we're up to 10% of the castle defended. I'm not sure what these guys are trying to shoot in the ground there, but oh boy, where did you get a fat man, Settler? So that's interesting and terrifying at the same time. Settlers should not be trusted with fat men. I have no idea where that person managed to get their hands on one. Well, these things, no, they're not damaged. They're convinced that there is some kind of enemy underground. Oh my gosh. Have we come all this way to have this quest bug out? I mean, I should be able to load previous save if that has happened, but still, like that's not satisfying or cool or anything else. So, where are our turrets? They should be cutting these guys to pieces by now. All right, the turrets have finally started to light up. And there are some of these Minutemen that are considered essential, and that means that there really is no fail state for this quest. if you've got essential characters that are fighting vulnerable characters, like eventually the essential characters will win. It's just a matter of time. But just having Mary hide in a corner somewhere, well, that doesn't feel very heroic. And I don't think it makes a really good game. So we're going to try and go and have a good stand-up fight with these folks. But gosh, those turrets. Oh, and there's that settler with the fat man still. Why do you have a fat man? Oh my gosh. I would take it from her, but that's her fat man. That's gonna be looting if I take it from her. So we can't. Okay, well, still very nervous about a settler with a fat man, but things are going pretty well. We haven't taken any hits, and let's check our population. We still have 24 people alive, and everybody is just kind of standing around waiting for the next wave. That's awesome. Why don't I throw one of those smoke grenades over there and see if we can get an artillery strike with them. I was trying to get attacked kind of on both sides, but yeah, we've got so many turrets. It's really just kind of no contest. And as long as I don't do anything dumb, like let a Courser get too close or anything, should be alright. Let's see, is there anybody? Looks like we got some people in the courtyard here. Or not anymore. There's that fat man. I hope that means that the settler is out of mini-nukes and is not going to be running around shooting more mini-nukes. Let's wait and see. Oh, yes. Okay. I just saw her put her fat man away, and she's pulled out a pipe rifle. That's good. And we've got some turrets that have been damaged, so we can go ahead and fix those. This whole run is kind of about how to cheese the settlement system, so it feels somewhat appropriate that rather than doing actual combat, we instead just go around and fix settlement pieces instead. Although I don't know that I want to go charging right up through there. Guns out. Oh, there's a Courser. And yeah, the helmet's not helping. I saw a blur, but I didn't actually see the Courser. So that is kind of too bad. But we can still take these synths out, and hopefully the turrets can do some work on the Courser. This guy doesn't have a stealth voice, so yeah, he is a dead man. Or a dead synth if you want to be super technical about it, but either way, no stealth boy and critical banker, he can take out a Courser without too much trouble. Just a matter of not getting swamped by invisible creatures. And there's another one. And take a critical at that guy, and pop goes the weasel. Look at him fly. Okay. So, yeah, we're doing okay. All right. We're going to let's see if we can't fix some more turrets just in case there's any more waves. But I think we're getting down to the end. Population stands at 23, which, you know, considering that we had an idiot with a fat man running around, we only lost one person to that. That's all right. I guess I'm just assuming that the person we lost is to a fat man versus enemy action, but it sure seems likely, doesn't it? Okay, that guy is pretty just melted. So we just leave him alone to. Let's see. Put that down there. Not getting killed by a courser, and one of them just hit me hard. So I am just going to take a stim pack and run away. Okay, Cosworth is hurt. I will see if I can get to him before he gets angry. And okay, says we're done. I think I still hear some firing going on, and the nuclear option begins. So, yeah, this is definitely, for us being done, alright. And, uh-oh. Why is everybody angry at me? Did I accidentally shoot a settler? Oh no! Oh, this is a disaster. I didn't want this. Shoot. Well, I'm certainly not going to go and try and take on all of those settlers and all those turrets. And Cosworth is going to Starlight, and Preston's probably going to be angry at me. We might have gone all through all of that and still end up having to load a previous save. I'm going to look around. I think Jamaica Plain might be the closest settlement I have where I can just spend like 2 or 3 days sleeping and waiting for that hostility to clear. I sure hope that I don't... So that has its own kind of potential problems, because every time I sleep 24 hours, I drop a save. And you can only get 3 saves in survival. I don't know if that's by game design or just the fact that my game is running out of room to save, but either way, I don't want to accidentally save my game and potentially, oh, this is tense. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make my way to Jamaica Plain, and I suppose I should actually set myself a map marker instead of just panic running. And I'm going to build myself a chair. I'm going to sit in that chair for 3 days, and then I'm going to go back to the castle and see what happens. Well, I'm sorry that I'm not going to be able to show you what happened when I arrived back at the castle. I went down to Jamaica Plain, and because I didn't dare save my game, I literally had Mary sit in a chair for 3 days. Just wait 24 hours, and then get her fed and watered, and then wait 24 hours again, and then march back here. And the whole time I was terrified that I would somehow run into some enemies and die, or potentially the game might crash. It was really, really tense, and I was so relieved when I got back here and the settlers were not hostile. Unfortunately, when I was capturing that footage, my hard drive filled up. And so it is lost, and lost forever, because there is no save game in between when I started the fight for Defend the Castle and when I got back. And rather than go back and redo Defend the Castle again or anything, and I just decided to let it stand. And unfortunately, I have to just describe what happened. I apologize for that. I really wish I could have shown you, because, as I said, it was super tense. Some of the most exciting Fallout gameplay I've had in a long time. Nevertheless, we're here, and it is time to strike back against the Institute.
Church has found a way into the Institute. We can launch an attack whenever you say the word.
How are we going to get in?
Secret way in.
He's been analyzing that data you brought back. Turns out, it included maps of their whole underground complex. He found some old tunnel that's still open to the surface. Cooling water for their reactor, I think. I figure we can get in that way and secure the teleporter, then use it to bring in the rest of our troops. We fight our way to their reactor, fix it to blow, and get the hell out of it.
Well, that sounds like a
Do we
plan.
have enough troops for the assault?
We have enough troops?
I think we do now. Enough to fight our way to the reactor, which is all we need. Get the details from Sturgis. I'll make sure the Minutemen are standing by to teleport into the Institute on your signal.
Alright, but there are some things that I want to do before that. First, my power armor has taken some damage, and I'd like to march that back to Hangman's Alley and get it repaired there. After all, Hangman's Alley is likely where we're going to kick off our assault on the Institute. Second, I want to collect Codsworth. I am insistent that I want him with me at the end of the game here because, well, we started the game together, and he is kind of Mary's last remaining touchstone to the world before the war, and it just seems appropriate to have him with her at the end of all things. Also, Codsworth is carrying a bunch of Mary's gear, and I want that back. I want that available to me in case we need to do any speech checks during the final bit of the game. Also, Mary is carrying Big Boy right now, and no chance really that I can think of that we are going to need that before the end of the game. I just cannot see how that would be ever useful in the enclosed spaces in the Institute. And so we are going to want to drop Big Boy off at Hangman's Alley. So yeah, between those things and a long walk to talk with Sturgis, well, there's still a lot of walking to be done, but it's going to be some of the last. And all endings are bittersweet, but I will admit that this playthrough where I did not have access to vertibird signal grenades and we were only on good terms with the Institute for a very short time, I'm kind of tired of walking all over the Commonwealth, especially between Hangman's Alley and Starlight Drive-In. So yeah, it's the last one, and on the one hand, I'm kind of sorry to see this run coming to an end. On the other, hoo boy, that is well-trodden ground. Ronnie Shaw also is someone that I want to talk to because although I don't have my charisma gear and I can't really reduce prices, I frankly don't care. It's the end of the game. And I did check her inventory, and she has something of interest here. She has the last minute. Now, I am not exactly excited about 50% more limb damage. I could really care less, but hey, it's a Gauss rifle, and it's probably the only legendary Gauss rifle that we're going to manage to get our hands on, so we might as well pick this up. And That is expensive, but as I said, who cares? We're also going to pick up one extra fusion core just in case. We're going to be running real low on carry capacity. But as long as we can make it to Hangman's Alley, we should be alright. And finally, I want to pick up some ammo for the last minute. And as I said, we're going to be over capacity right now, but as soon as we put on our power armor, I think we're going to be alright. For now, let's take a look at the last minute here, and it is already fairly well upgraded. We've got a shielded barrel. Might as well take the recoil compensating stock. The capacitors are boosted as far as they can go, and I am content with this scope. I don't really think that a recon scope is really worth it. Although, who am I kidding? Like, what am I saving those materials for? Let's go ahead and put the long recon scope on there. And finally, compensator's nice, but suppressor is better. So, we've got ourselves a fully uprated Gauss rifle. Sure do wish I could have got my hands on an instigating Gauss rifle. I got one in one playthrough of an instigating Gauss rifle, and it was awesome. You could kill anything in the game in one shot, pretty much guaranteed, especially if it was a sneak shot, but even not necessarily if you were in sneak. Called that guy the Finger of God. So, yeah, now that we've got our power armor on, we are not over encumbered anymore. I have a couple more long walks to do, but they're going to be among the last. And I'm thankful for that, but as I said, I'm also kind of sorry to see the end of this run coming. After all, this is potentially the last time I play Fallout 4. We've got Starfield coming, and, you know, it just seems to happen that way sometimes. When I, set aside Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas when Fallout 4 came out, I was like, well, I can go back and play those games whenever I want, but I just never have. I have gotten to the point now, since I've moved consoles a couple times, some of the DLCs on those games won't even download anymore. So, yeah, they put just so many hours into Fallout 4 that watching it kind of come to a close is a little bittersweet. But still, we've got a lot more to do, and I will join you again once we get to Hangman's Alley. And we're back to Hangman's Alley, so first things first, let's get out from being over encumbered. It is time to put the big boy away here. Probably not going to use it again this run. And can I get in here? No. Well, that's okay. We are going to just disable this for a moment. And that should allow us. There we go. So, goodbye, big boy. You served us well with the Marla Queen, and then we're a drag on our carry weight capacity for the rest of the game. And this is probably, might be the last time we even get into our little gun closet here. Yep, all the guns that we used for a while and then set aside. So, except the Captain Cosmos, we spent a lot of time and effort getting that thing, and then it just sucked. So, now that we are no longer encumbered, we can maybe go ahead and do a little bit of shopping. Actually, before we do that, let's see about making some more glue and maybe some more drugs. Actually, I'm not sure why I'm bothering, other than if I should happen to gain another level, that would put us up to endurance 10. And you can see, that level progress bar is moving along pretty quick. Don't think that we'll get there, but we do have some long journeys to make, and we'll probably have some additional enemies to kill on those trips. So who knows? Maybe that'll be enough to be what puts us over the top. Meanwhile, we can also check here and see. Nope, we don't have enough bone to make it cutting fluid for oil. But how are we doing on plastic for jet? Actually, we're getting close enough that I'm willing to kind of cut into my reserves. I like to keep around 100 plastic rounds just so that, well, frankly, just so that if I ended up wanting to build something, I absolutely would be sure that I could. But now that we're getting close to it, we can dispense with that. And we are already over encumbered again. So yeah, it's maybe for the best that we didn't get the last minute any sooner. I'm not sure if it's going to be a good gun for us or not, but it is certainly a heavy son of a gun. And where are my vendors? Because if time has gotten away from me and it is past, it's past 8 o'clock.
Just wanted to trade a few things.
Let me take
No joy with. All right, we can at least barter with the doctor.
Go
And
easy on the cats.
I could use a stim pack, and we can sell that big pile of glue that we just made. No, and we can sell these Gauss rifle mods because we don't need them. And sell the glue. That should help with the carry weight, because I am wanting to pick up. Let's see. So, like I said, Cosworth still has some of our stuff. I want to be able to get that, and also I am going to want to be able to pick up my gear from Cosworth and maybe some extra ammo from Smiling Larry.
Just looking to trade.
So that's the armor vendor, and no luck there.
Sure. Let me see what you got.
Unfortunately, time just got away from us a tiny bit, and most of the vendors around here are closed. But that's okay. I am going to sleep before I head out and try and collect Codsworth, and we will sell some additional jet, and we will also try and pick up some more 2mm electronic cartridges and maybe an extra fusion core or two. And since we are going to be back in Hangman's Alley again, there will be another opportunity to buy from Smiling Larry. Meanwhile, let's go ahead and get our power armor all fixed up. No reason not to. We're about to make our final assault, and while we're at it, I don't think the Stealth Boy is the right choice for assaulting the Institute. Neither is the jetpack. What are we going to fly to in an underground bunker? And the Institute doesn't do much in the way of melee damage to reactive plates. Is not interesting. And medic pump, because stim packs act so slowly, medic pump might not really do us any good. Tesla coils is nice, but I hope to be killing enemies at range. I think that action point refresh speed is maybe the best thing we can do, because mass defense has been a strong ally to us for this entire game, and also I just have terrible aim, and so I need VATS, and so that is going to be our final setup for our power armor. I am going to take this fusion core out so that I don't come back and find that a settler has decided to take my fancy armor suit for a spin. Let's check in on Mama Murphy while we're here and take a glance at Murphy Vision. Well, the drugs are still there, so she has not managed to find a way to sneak into there, and there is Mama Murphy still locked in her room and staring at the drugs. So I hope that it is.
Thanks to you.
You try to butter me up by telling me that it's a proper home is not going to work. How do you know that I'm even watching you? Weird old lady. Anyways, let's have a sleep, and then I'm going to go up and collect Codsworth from Starlight Drive-In and go talk to Sturgis in Covenant. One last long walk. Well, here we are back at Covenant, and I have collected Codsworth as my companion, although, where did he go? There he is. He's holding a couple of spare fusion cores for us, but nothing else. So if he goes down during the assault, well, probably we won't need those spare fusion cores anyways, and that means that we aren't going to be missing anything critical out of our equipment if we lose our companion.
Hoping you stop by.
And here is Sturgis. That is great news. How'd you do it?
I was kind of hoping there'd be something worth all the time I spent cracking their encryption. Turns out there was. One of the things in the data you stole was a plan of the whole Institute complex, including the older sections that used to be part of CIT. Turns out they're still using an old water pipe that runs out to the river. Brings in cooling water to their reactor. Its entrance is underwater and is blocked by a security grate. Also, the whole pipe is labeled high radiation danger, but there isn't any other way in that I can find. So it's this, or nothing.
Well, fortunately, I have power armor, and that lets me not necessarily breathe underwater, but it's self-contained, and it also is radiation protection. So how do we get through this security grate, though?
Oh, right. I found the code that should open it. So all you have to do is survive the trip. Now, as soon as you get in there, you need to access the main relay control and use this holotape to teleport everybody into the Institute.
All right, Sturgis, it sounds like a plan. Thank you. And that means that the last thing we have to do before we get this started is go pick up our power armor in Hangman's Alley. So this is it. This is my last kind of walk through the Commonwealth, and again, bittersweet. I've been playing this game on and off pretty steadily for, oh gosh, since 2015, and it's 2023. I'm pretty sure it was even October of 2015, and it's August of 2023. So yeah, we're going on close to 8 years that this game has been a big part of my life. But like I said, with Starfield coming, although I can always go back to Fallout 4, I don't know that it will ever happen. It depends a lot on just how good Starfield promises to be, or actually turns out to be. That remains to be seen as I record this. Of course, by the time this comes out, that is going to be a known quantity. And we will know whether or not Starfield is an awesome game or another unplayable, buggy mess that we're going to have to wait for people who make mods to go fix it. My anticipation is high. Still, no more fiddle farting around. I'll get back to you in Hangman's Alley while we begin our final assault on the Institute. Here we are, outside the Institute's cooling water pipe, ready to begin our final assault. It surely feels like we have come a very long way since punching rad roaches in the vault because we couldn't pick up the police baton, or spending literal weeks trying to get our character strong enough to take on the Deathclaw in Concord without using the power armor or the minigun that were on the roof of the Museum of Freedom. So it kind of feels like, here goes nothing, right? And I hope that we're going to be able to get everything unlocked that we really need unlocked. I think that's just some extra loot. So let us enter this key. Okay, we're ready to activate the relay. Now, where was the security grate that he mentioned? Well, it seems that there's a door somewhere. Okay, I think this might be the way forward. It's been a long time since I have done this mission, and I don't rightly remember exactly where everything is. It's not a mission that you do all that often anyway, and potentially you're doing it with one of 3 different factions. Of course, if you come in here with the Brotherhood or the Railroad, there's a different way into the Institute. And so, yeah, I'm struggling to remember if I have... I think I did, I did Minutemen for Evolution of a Settlement challenge, and so that has been a number of years ago, though. So, like I said, it's been a while since I had to go through this area, and I don't rightly remember just how long it even is. Okay. I was getting ready to say I remember this, and we were gonna be getting into the upper level of the Institute right next to the relay post, but no, that is not where we are. And let's... Okay, so we've got an enemy down here. A mole rat in the final level of the game? Really? Okay, well, if mole rats must be fought, then mole rats we will fight, but seems somewhat superfluous at this point. I suppose they might be, here to try and get your character sick or whatever. I do only have a single dose of antibiotics. I got sick the last time I slept at Hangman's Alley, and I just did not want to wait around for the doctor to be able to sell me another dose of antibiotics. It's somewhat rare anyways. There's no guarantee the doctor was going to have another dose. And meanwhile, my well-rested perk is kind of ticking away. So, alright. Whoa! Where did these guys come from? Yeah, my well-rested perk is ticking away, and I do have my new Gauss rifle, but it feels like a waste to be using against mole rats and ghouls. Then again, the ammo's awfully expensive, but what am I saving it for? Let's see how it does against this bloated glowing one. The head explodes in one shot. Fantastic. And that was a sneak attack. I don't know if this is going to count or not. Yep, still counting as sneak. So, some more guys have come up behind Codsworth, and Codsworth is down. Good thing I have some robot repair kits. Oh, this guy didn't die. How rude. So I do have a few robot repair kits, but not many, so I hope he doesn't go down too much more often. Meanwhile, the last minute here, according to this, does 485 damage, whereas Overseer's Guardian, which has been a very good gun and a extremely faithful servant for us for this entire game, was only at 227, so we're doing pretty much twice as much damage as we were before. And as long as we don't have more than another 80 enemies or so, why, since everything pretty much is getting one-shotted, it means that we're probably going to be able to complete the game with the last minute, and if we can't, well, Overseer's Guardian is still pretty doggone good. So, how about we... So I had just tried to plan on keeping a running commentary on the entire assault here, but frankly, I am starting to run out of things to say, so I am going to do what I've done a few other times, which is put some music on and speed up time and just kind of let you see how it goes. Alright, this is what I remember coming out of a hatch into the Institute itself. So let's get our holotape loaded. And actually, before we do that, we're thirsty. Let's drink some water. And oh, we don't need to view access logs. We need to load a holotape. I believe this is the one. There we go. Very good. So here come our allies. Excellent. Why would I... Mass fusion is somehow still an open quest. Weird. I wonder, can I step in here again? Yeah, I totally could. I am so intensely curious about what happens if I use that relay, but how the heck do I get back in, right? I don't necessarily... I suppose I could jump off the roof with mass fusion. I'm in power armor. I am intensely curious, but I'm not that curious. Are you having second thoughts, Preston?
No, it's too late for that. They've shown that there's no way for us to coexist peacefully. If it's them or us, I choose us. In any case, here we are. No turning back now. You're gonna need this. It's a fusion pulse charge. Once it's attached to the reactor, it can be detonated remotely.
All right. Looks fancy.
You get that on the reactor, and we can trigger an explosion that'll destroy everything the Institute has ever built. Just make sure we give the civilians a chance to escape before we blow the place. We're not here to commit mass murder. We better hurry. They're gonna realize what's going on before too long. Sturgis, you'd better get to work on this teleport of theirs. We need that thing running as soon as possible. You pull us back up as soon as we give the signal. And anyone from the Institute who wants out, you let them go, as long as they ain't shooting at you.
You got it, boss.
Well, tell you what, Preston. I know we're not here to commit mass murder, but letting a bunch of mad scientists out into the Commonwealth proper might not be the greatest idea. Can we take this elevator down and maybe... Yeah, okay. Fair enough, the Institute has turned off their elevator. I can't say that I blame them. So instead, we are going to make our way through the old robotics lab. And if memory serves, this is sentry bots, turrets, and assaultrons. So, shouldn't be too bad. Just a matter of trying to make sure that we take enemies out quickly enough that they don't do too much damage to our Minuteman escorts. And although we have taken some hits, hardly any hit points. And that means our power armor is doing some good work. Right. What's next? I'm trying to take some manual shots just because the more I use VATS, the faster my fusion cores will go. And it's not like I care about that so much, except that I don't want to run out and have to abandon my power armor down here. Doesn't really make a difference, but I mean, you know, I kind of see power armor for our Fallout 4 characters as much like a car is a major investment. It's not the end of the world if you lose a suit, but it is a major setback. Well, we can just take the sentry bot out before it even wakes up. Great. I will take it. any other turrets that we can see. Doesn't look like it. So let's get down there and see about taking out what's left in this room. And here again, I think that it is probably time to just put on some music and speed up time and let the carnage unfold.
Now entered.
Yeah, let's get in here.
Looks like the command can only come from the director's personal terminal. You're gonna need to get access to
well,
it somehow.
I know where the director lives. So, oh, but all the towers are blocked. Well, I guess we're gonna have to take this elevator down to really, what is the purpose of having this elevator that goes all the way from the relay up there to the main floor of the Institute and then goes down one more level to get us into the back way to the director's quarters? I mean, ultimately, the point is so that we can have a controlled entrance to the Institute and meet Synth Sean and regular Sean in just the way that the developers wanted us to, but realistically, yeah, what is the point of that little detour? Anyway, we would normally have kind of a heartfelt conversation with father/son/Sean in here, but yeah, Mary already murdered him, so we're going to instead just skip straight to this terminal, which thankfully is only novice locked. I'm sure they could put a key card or something around here somewhere in case, you know, if they wanted to have a higher level, but I'm glad that they didn't, because it means that I don't have to pick anything up or reload a save and come back with a companion that can hack or any of that other stuff. But trying to find the... Okay, here has 3 in common. So, I could go get more guesses, but I don't need them. Tear is got to be it. So, director access, synth shutdown. What does this do? Director code required. Well, we don't got that, but we can at least engage the evacuation protocol. And on the one hand, Mary is not a mass murderer. On the other, sending these scientists out in the wild seems dangerous at best, and potentially murderous, just a slower way to commit mass murder. These people are not prepared for life in the Commonwealth. Like, not even close. And the idea that we're just going to send them out without any training or preparation or supplies or anything, there's a lot of them, probably most of them even, are going to die. Still, they have a clear objective. We are needing to get into advanced systems, but I hate leaving enemies behind me. So we're going to take these guys out and make our way around. And we are starting to run low on our ammo for the Gauss rifle. So we may end up finishing this game with Overseer's Guardian, which in many ways feels appropriate, right? It has been our weapon of choice for the vast majority of the game. We had a pipe rifle to start, but other than Overseer's Guardian, I can't think of any other legendary rifles that we have used. So we do still have the Experiment 18A on hand if we decide we need a rapid fire weapon. And in fact, why don't we just pull that out for a little bit? It's hard to hit anything with this. At least not without VATS. My aim is bad, yes, but the recoil on this thing just makes it almost uncontrollable. second thought, yeah, for as much damage as we took, for just getting a couple of cents down, I think that we're going to be putting Experiment 18A away.
Thank you for your cooperation.
And there we go. There is another level up, and just in time too, right? Because level ups will refill your hit points. In fact, oh, I had 2. Oh, so I already could have had my endurance maxed out. So what does that put my hit points at? 831. Well, what in the world are we going to do with this other perk?
Thank you for your cooperation.
You know, in all my time playing Fallout 4, I don't think I've ever taken Mysterious Stranger. So, what the heck? We'll see if the Mysterious Stranger shows up before the end of the game. Meanwhile, as I said, the Experiment 18A, great for ghouls, not so much for anything else, because for myself, I can't control the recoil.
Thank you for your cooperation.
So, we're just going to put that away. We have anybody hiding out back here? No? Okay. So we're still in danger from something, but whatever it is can just live and let live. Let's get back into the reactor.
This must be the reactor. This must be the reactor. We'll cover you while you plant the charge.
Okay.
You only get one shot at this, remember? Good luck. This must be the reactor.
Alright, well, one shot at it is right. I surely wish that I had thought to save my game while I was in the main part of the Institute. On the other hand, our adrenaline is all the way up at rank 10, so let's see. I am going to switch over to Overseer's Guardian for these tourists. They don't have enough hit points to bother with the Gauss rifle, and we can take them all out in single shots. Well, I thought we could take them all out in single shots. I guess not. Anyway, let's go back to last minute. Let's see if we have any synths or anything. Next, I expect we do. Well, there's a laser turret. Let's take that out while we have a clear shot. And anything else that we can snipe off down here? Well, we can take some shots at another legendary synth. Here we go. I'm curious what his inventory was going to be, because certainly the last one was pretty terrible. So I feel like I should be, taking some care and trying to kill some enemies through these windows, but the view is awfully obscured even with Penetrator. Okay, well, we got this scientist dead to rights. They're gonna die. And they're gonna fly a long ways, dude. So can we get eyes on anybody else here? Nope. We're just gonna have to go downstairs and get a little bit more direct. Preston? That was weird. Didn't I just see you upstairs? Anyway, I suppose good news if we had a lot of rads, we would have a chance to get rid of those before we try and blow up the nuclear reactor, but don't think we need them. Is this a third named Gen 2 legendary synth? I don't remember what the last one was. I'm pretty sure I killed the one on the stairs through the window a second ago. Anyway, take a critical on this guy. This So we're shooting through stairs and don't have a good shot at his head. And let's see. Manual shot on him. Because fusion cores are running a little low. Kneecap or gamma gun? Extra leg damage is great against ghouls and death claws, which don't really mind radiation damage. So what the heck, man? I tell you, the legendaries on this run have just been, they have just been unmitigated garbage. I found very, very few pieces of legendary gear where I was really sad to let it go. And that's another one that I just, like, I don't think I would pick it up to sell it if I was even doing such a thing. Anyway, we're about to go walk into a nuclear reactor. I suppose we should turn it off first.
Security's too tight.
And I can't. Uh-oh. Well, in that case, even though we're wearing power armor, let's pop some Radix, because there's no point in saving it now, right? I do have a... Okay, so we've got the fusion pulse charge on. Let's close this door. Or come on. There we go. Close door. And now what the heck are we gonna do? Okay, well, we're just gonna relay out. That's fine with me. No, we're not gonna use the relay. We're gonna do nothing. So, alright.
All personnel. Evacuation order issued.
Yeah, I would, man.
I wonder if I'm gonna have a chance to even get out of here without using it, but we have one final decision to make. And although Mary considers Synth Sean not her son, she also has, I think at this point, determined that for her at least, synths are people. And that means that Sean has rights, and although he never asked to be put into this body, or never wanted to have anyone, think that this stranger is his mom. That is a lot that he has been dealt. I have a lot of interesting thoughts, I think, about Sean. I'd like to see him a companion in the next Fallout game, because we know that synths do not age, and I don't think that they ever got as far in this prototype development to the point where they could make their synths grow up. Which means in the next Fallout game, Sean could be, a person of 30 or 40 years of age stuck in the body of a 10 or 11-year-old. So why are you calling me Mom?
What? You're my mother. Why else would I call you that?
Well, because you have been programmed to think that.
I'm not your mother. Whoever told you that was lying.
But you are. Nobody told me, I just know it. Why would you say you're not? Don't you love me anymore?
That is an unfair question.
I loved my son. My real son. You're not him. It's not fair to ask me that.
What do you mean I'm not your son? You're just saying that so you can leave me here and not feel bad about it. I hate you!
Well, unfortunately, there didn't seem to be a way to... Okay, good. So, Sean, I don't love you. I can't. Maybe someday,
right,
but for now, you can come with me.
Better not make me regret this.
I'm glad you are here to save me.
Sturgis, I think it's time to get the heck out of Dodge.
Authorization.
All right, Sturgis. Fire it up.
Didn't leave anything behind, did you?
Please proceed
All set to
your
get out of
assigned
here?
Evacuation points. Thank you for your
Let's see.
cooperation.
Codsworth. Where's Codsworth? There he is. Okay, yes, I am ready to get out of here. One time I left dog meat in the Institute, and he was lost forever. So, are we sure that the relay's working?
This thing won't vaporize me, right?
Aw, come on. Have I ever let you down? You got my word that it's all set up proper. Now, are we going? Or are we gonna stand here and jaw more?
Please proceed to your assigned.
No, we're not going
Absolutely.
to jaw more. We are going to get the heck out.
You got it. I'm gonna teleport you to the detonation site, then set it to shoot the kid here back to the castle. Now you press that button extra hard when you get there. I'll see you on the other side.
Thanks, Sturgis. You might be the real hero of this game.
Attention all personnel. Evacuation order issued.
Okay, well, I guess that,
Please proceed to your assigned evacuation points. Thank you for your cooperation.
I'm guessing that the Brotherhood is going to be permanent enemies, which is weird since we are, okay, maybe not. Okay, well, we're at Mass Fusion. I'm not sure if the Brotherhood's an enemy or not, but
Just hit that button.
I have a lot of questions. For now, though, there is not much else to do but push the big red button. Go. I think that explosion might be even cooler in the daytime. I always done it at night before because it showed up better, but seeing that all the ground shake and the dust and everything around,
I can feel it wash over me.
don't see that at night. It's kind of cool.
The heat, the force, the radiation, the fear. It's the end of the world, all over again. I close my eyes. I see my life before all of this, before the bombs. Everything can change in an instant, and the future you plan for yourself shifts, whether or not you're ready. At some point, it happens to all of us. This was not the world I wanted, but it was the one I found myself in. The Commonwealth. My home. Ripped apart and put back together. I thought I hoped I could find my family. Cheat time, make us whole again, the way we were. But now I know. I know I can't go back. I know the world has changed. The road ahead will be hard. This time I'm ready. Because I know war. War never changes.
I think that monologue hits a little different when we take Mary's backstory into account of an unhappy marriage with an abusive husband, wanting to go back and put things back together.
Bang, wasn't
It was different.
So that's it.
She wanted to recover her marriage, and
It's finally over.
not possible.
Did issue the evacuation order, right? I didn't notice in all the chaos.
Yes, I did order
Gave everyone a
the
chance to
Institute
get
to evacuate.
I thought so. It was just watching that explosion. I just hope as many people as possible got out. I hate that we had to do that. But they left us no choice. It was war. But now, the war against the Institute is over. The way is now clear for the Commonwealth to finally come together and build something good for the future. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows from here on out.
Yeah, there are definitely other problems to deal with in the Commonwealth, but I feel like Mary's done enough.
The Institute was the most insidious threat we've ever faced. They kept the Commonwealth divided for centuries. But there are plenty of other problems left to deal with. I don't think the Minutemen are going to be out of a job for a long time yet. As much as I might wish it. We deserve to enjoy our victory. But soon enough, it's going to be time to get back to work.
And we get giant piles of experience, which are more or less useless. Because what are we going to do with more levels now?
Just kept to themselves down in their little
Codsworth, do you have anything to say? I'm just disappointed you didn't say anything during the mission.
Hey, Codsworth.
Here we are.
Got any thoughts?
It ends as it began. Fitting, I suppose. If only the Institute was interested in helping improve the Commonwealth. Why none of these powerful groups want to help the actual people of the world we live in is beyond me.
Codsworth, I couldn't have said it any better myself.
That's all.
Thanks, man.
We sure showed those Institute bastards, didn't we, General?
We sure did. So, it is a tragedy that the Institute that had so much potential for good had to be destroyed. And there are a lot of Institute scientists out there that are going to be oscillating between begging for help and potentially trying to carry on their mad experiments. So I feel like there is a lot more story to be told in the Commonwealth, and maybe someday we will get another Fallout set here. I hope I live to see the day. I'll put it that way. It's going to be a long time before there's another Fallout game. So, that means that we have kind of one more thing to do in this episode, and that is make a big dramatic jump in our power armor. Boom. If you enjoyed this series, I surely do hope that you'll hit the like button, and keep in mind, there is going to be one more episode. I have a lot of questions that are currently unanswered, like whatever happened to Paladin Dance? Did we actually make enemies of the Brotherhood of Steel? Or even though we failed the mission that we never completed with Dance when we got to the nuclear option, is he still sitting back at the police station? And what's our relationship with the railroad going to be like now that we have destroyed the Institute? Did we still somehow manage to get the trifecta ending where there's an uneasy peace between Railroad, Minutemen, and Brotherhood? We'll find out next week, and we're also going to spend some time reflecting on what we did or didn't accomplish. Did we actually learn anything, or was this just an excuse to play Fallout 4 one last time? Hope you're looking forward to that. If you are and you haven't subscribed, by gosh, please subscribe. I do have a lot more Fallout in Real World videos to come, and I don't know if Starfield is going to be something that is going to be ripe for content the way Fallout 4 was with the settlement system, but if it is, and I'm feeling like I can say something unique or interesting, I will see about making some Starfield content. So, until next week, until next time, I'm saying my name is Nacho Bidness, and it's a great big wasteland out there, and we still got just a little bit more fun to go have in it.